Hey, it's Danny, welcome back to another video. This week's video we're going to be looking into one of my busiest weeks of work so far, and we'll be going to the Australian Open later this week. Starting off this video, I just wanted to show you guys what I usually do for a quick lunch. So with our lunches we usually have Avocado Toast, and for me I like to have a bit of fried eggs on my toast as well, and it's usually something just plain and simple that we have for lunch, something quick, easy to whip up, and whatever we have in our fridge. Now this week was a very busy week for me because I was having a lot of customer meetings, and it was also my first time meeting these customers as I come off my training period. As you can see, I like to talk with my hands, and I guess I kind of learnt this when I've been presenting a lot through the screen. Most of the time, and most of the feedback I was seeing back then was that you should express how you talk with your hands and sort of keep your hands off your mouse when you're presenting, so that way people aren't distracted by your mouse movements and are more focused on you. In between work I also do a bit of life admin, so that's either paying bills, putting files and documents away into different folders, chasing up on any orders, calls, and yeah, anything in between where I'm just trying to sort our stuff together for the house and just making sure we're all up to date with everything we have. This week was our water bill, and I've also been calling up some of the furniture people we've organised deliveries with. We haven't received any updates since sort of just before Christmas, and yeah, just chasing up to see where our orders were and booking those delivery times in. On days when it is hot as well, or if it's going to be a hot week, I try to prepare some cold brew in advance so that whenever I'm busy, I just pour it into a cup of some ice and I'm all good to go. And then back to work I go. My meetings do vary from, I guess, the different types of conversations I'm having with clients. So they could vary from talking about renewals for this system, upcoming contracts, intro meetings where we're just pretty much just catching up and getting to know each other a bit more. But most of the time I do what we call demonstrations of our system. So this pretty much includes an end-to-end demo system where I showcase what our system can do and the benefits of our system, and showcase and highlight to our clients areas of the system where they might be underutilizing things, and yeah, opportunities for improvements that they can sort of incorporate into their own systems, and how I can help them get that into place either through myself or any of my colleagues. Most of the day as well I am practicing my demo, so just making sure I've got my flow down correctly, and yeah, anything I'm not too sure of I'll highlight with my colleagues to get a better understanding of. And understanding the system is really much a crucial part of my role, so as long as I get my knowledge up to date and up to speed, and I can show that I can demonstrate the system to clients, then yeah, that's pretty much most of my job. And then the rest will just be contracts, understanding the sort of industry itself, and yeah, doing a bit of research here and there and understanding what people want from the system. And of course, the main role of a customer success manager is to maintain the relationship between the clients and the company. And that's usually through regular engagement and making an impact and a difference to their organization. we've also been lucky enough that one of our friends who bakes quite frequently has been making us a lot of desserts lately. This is a matcha tres leches and a pandan tres leches. So the pandan being the one that's a bit lighter and the matcha being the one that's a bit darker. You'd think that a tres leches would be very sweet. It kind of is, but this one wasn't too sweet. The cream kind of cuts out the richness of the milks as well, so it was really nice to have that sort of incorporated in. We had to stop ourselves from eating all the slices this day and kept it for another day when we felt like dessert afterwards. Now, I actually don't have an office, so the organization is fully remote, which is a great benefit. Really means that I can just take my work anywhere and work from anywhere. So on this day, we were going to the Australian Open at night, and I decided to work at a friend's house within the city. They had a spot set up for me right in their kitchen, so it's just me working on the kitchen bench most of the day, and yeah. It was mainly just me taking meetings most of the day. I literally had back-to-back meetings from like 9:30 straight through to 4:30, so had a small break in between, which was nice, and went down to get some coffee at Two Conversations, which I haven't had in a very long time, and it was nice to see that they were open that day and they weren't too busy. We also stopped by the nearby workers' food room where I got a chicken schnitzel and focaccia. It was actually pretty good. $12, pretty big slice of focaccia and chicken schnitzel, and it was definitely very flavorful. I think they added a bit of curry powder to this, and I think that really did make a difference to the flavor, and it was really great. Our friends also cooked this meal this day as well, so we had some cold buckwheat noodles with salad, a spicy gochujang sauce on top as well, and we had some bossam, which is boiled pork. It sounds so simple, but I think the flavors in this were very complex. So you've got the nuttiness from the sesame oil, the spiciness from the sauce, there was also a bit of mustard in there, but yeah, it was very refreshing. The salad on top as well added a very nice crunch to the noodles, which were light, chewy. The bossam was also super tender, super flavorful. Chef didn't give us the secret ingredients that were in the broth to cook the pork, but I can definitely let you know it was so delicious. Probably one of the best bossams I've ever had, and yeah, can't wait to have it again next time. We also got night tickets to the AO, so I think these were around $19 if you went past 5 p.m. or entered the grounds after 5 p.m. And yeah, there was quite a number of games happening that were free where you could just enter the arenas to watch. And there was still quite a lot of people out as well, which was surprising because there was a lot of rain on this day. And yeah, it was nice to see that it all cleared up during the evening. It was my first time at the AO, and yeah, it was really nice to be sort of part of the environment, part of the vibes. There were definitely crowds just cheering on the players. That was really nice to see, you know, something you don't usually see on TV where they're very quiet. But one of the games that we saw and heard was, yeah, very cheery, very joyful, and yeah, it was very nice to see a tennis match in person. Quite different to definitely watching it on TV, and it was definitely that night when we got back. I also decided to prepare some chicken that we were going to have for roast the next day. So the reason why I wanted to prep this beforehand was so that I can flavor the chicken and give it as much time as possible to have the flavors sort of just sink into the chicken. To have some softened butter with some seasonings. Usually I have some paprika, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, mixed herbs, and yeah, that's most of the things I usually have to make it very simple and very delicious. I grabbed some of the butter and I just pretty much slide it under the skin, being careful not to fully rip the skin off because I still want that skin kind of attached to the chicken, so when it cooks you're sort of steaming underneath the skin where it sort of melts the butter into the meat and keeps it very juicy and tender, flavoring it at the same time, and you're also creating a gap between the skin and the meat, which helps it crisp up more evenly when you're baking. The next day I prepared the potatoes, carrots and pumpkin. With the potatoes I cut them to about an inch thickness and parboil them. It helps the potatoes cook more evenly when they're in the oven, so the outside gets very crispy and the inside stays fluffy. with the pumpkin and carrots, I just kept it very simple. I just cut them into chunks and then I just season with salt and pepper and just a drizzle of olive oil. A trick I learned for a bit more flavorful potatoes is to mix a pan with olive oil and butter, put it in the oven to heat up, and once it starts to get all bubbly, chuck in your potatoes that you've pre-seasoned with some mixed herbs, salt and pepper, and yeah, you'll hear it sizzle once it touches the pan, which is really nice to hear, and you can already see that some of them already start to get a bit brown. But that's okay because we're going to be regularly tossing them in the oven and just keeping a very close eye on them when they are roasting. I was roasting this at around 200 degrees Celsius alongside the chicken that I had as well. With the chicken, I covered it for around 30 minutes with foil, and then I removed the foil and cooked it for a further 20 to 30 minutes until the skin gets crispy and brown. I hope you guys had a great week and I hope you enjoyed today's video. I do have some more things planned, such as more cooking videos, more what I eat in a week, more meal ideas, and I'm also starting a story time while I prepare food as well. first one being the story of my time at the temple and becoming a monk. So keep an eye out for that video coming out in the next few coming weeks. And yeah, any stories you want to hear from me, definitely let me know. Until then, I'll catch you soon.